Rosanna said wish you.
Good morning.
We're on here. Good morning.
Welcome to the 5-8, I guess.
Yeah.
We're not going to do topics, and we're not going
No.
to do singing or dancing.
No.
We are going to do Bloody Marys, though.
Celebrate.
Oh my gosh. Greg Olear makes the best Bloody Mary. I'm going to stop here so I can get through the show.
Yeah.
Because that's
Okay.
a delicious Bloody Mary.
It
And then
needs
I'll
more
finish
wasabi.
it.
It needs more. A little bit more wasabi.
So good.
Thank you. I'm glad.
I think a lot of olives too. I'm pro olive.
I did. Yeah.
I like
There's
the
a whole
salt.
jar of them.
Olives?
Yeah, I
There's a whole
know.
jar of olives.
You were going to get a bunch of
We have to
olives.
tinker with the.
Because I'm convinced this is a meal. I've always said that about Bloody Marys. It
Yeah.
is a full meal.
Now, I
Yeah.
told you, a friend of mine, Brady, used to go to this party every year where they had Bloody Marys and other stuff, and it eventually
Yes.
evolved. So it was only that. And there was a whole row of things you could put in the Bloody Mary, like
Yes.
bacon and
Yes.
I think little pieces of cheeseburger,
Oh my
like all
God.
kinds of,
Little
you know,
pieces of
whatever. I
cheeseburger.
mean, and they would have these enormous Bloody Marys.
I
It's
told
good.
my mom about that idea. I said we should do that up here.
Here
'Cause
we
we're
go.
always
Now we're
my
talking.
mother and I are always planning
Thank you.
for who my mother calls the people, for when the people come. So we even have like a guest book for the people
Olives.
by the front. Yes, by the front door. More olives.
More olives.
Because the people are coming. At some point, the people will come. And I think it's also being a minister's wife for so many decades.
Well, you know
There's
what?
always people over.
It's also
And there isn't a corner in the house my mother can't find to put a chair in. She can find any place to put a chair. Like, you know, so
It's
when the
Italian.
people come, they have a place to sit.
this is also an Italian thing, though, because you know
Oh, it
you
is.
might have company.
You might have company.
Sebastian Maniscalco does a whole thing about this. Like, there's an Entenmann's cake that's, you know, and you try to go get it, and they're like, no, it's for company.
It's for company.
You can't have it,
Yeah.
and it just sits there forever because nobody.
Because nobody
Everybody
ever
comes.
does it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Mhm.
So we're doing that. We're doing our Bloody
Yeah.
Marys.
Let's see. We
We're
should have
doing
some sort of It's 11:09, so we're
Okay.
doing
Just
okay.
Be mindful of the time. Yeah, again, we're trying to counter program without bringing it up, what we're counter programming,
Yeah.
because we don't want that toxicity. I really don't want it.
We're not going to talk
Like,
about
I don't. Okay, good.
it. We're going to talk
So
about other
instead,
things.
we're focusing on Martin Luther King Day. We have a dear friend here. We're together. By the way, we didn't say that. Surprise.
Yeah,
we're in
we're
the same
together.
location.
Right.
Yes. Are you ready to come in?
I just would say.
All right. And here we got a surprise friend.
No, just a friend that. Hi.
Here's Rosanna. MLK.
Today is this, Martin Luther King Day. That's the day, what it is today. This is what is meant to be celebrated on this day. So we're celebrating the great Martin Luther King.
That's right.
All together in a snowstorm, and really been intense because all our incredible friends, our besties, our loves of our lives, soul people have lost a lot. A lot of people have lost everything.
Yeah.
And so we're really been
In California.
our souls and hearts are with California, even though physically we have not been there, just on the phone and dealing and hearing the trauma of everybody actually walking through this intensity and really horror and losing everything is beyond. And if you're an empath, like we all kind of are, I would say we're all empaths. Like, even though we're not there, no one can experience what you're experiencing. But all I can tell you is I'm coughing and weeping, and like hearing all the trauma of all of this has been really horrible. And I love you all, and I love Los Angeles, and every neighborhood I ever lived in is burnt to the ground. And I want to do whatever we can to rebuild the city in a sustainable, beautiful, healthy way for everybody. And where's the desalinization, dudes? Like what? Like,
Yeah.
Israel lives in a desert. Saudi Arabia, they're deserts, and they have water.
They need the water.
They desalinate anyway. So they'll figure it out. Let's do something beautiful and help all the people that have lost everything, because we need it. And God bless you all, and thank you.
And we told everybody on Friday about your idea because, of course, and folks had seen the articles. Is there an update on that?
Oh no! So I just had to put out a thing, in the middle of the night from a thing, my horrible punctuation, but whatever. And
Rosanna,
I've got my
excuse addiction.
I've got my
Yeah.
my profound literature people all around me, but I just whatever. Anyway, it's terrible. But I put it out there that I woke up in the middle of the night thinking, what if there was a telethon, like the Jerry Lewis telethons, but it's all the Oscars who, Hollywood did build that city. And here it's our responsibility, artists, to raise hundreds, like millions, billions of dollars of the entertainment industry, but people going out with their awards, but talking to a person who's donating money while they're up there in their jeans and t-shirts. Not glam. It's being rebuilding the city. That's kind of a dream I had. So it got picked up and it was in Variety, but now I heard they might be canceling, which I think is the right thing to do. But I had said, keep it on. If you're going to do it, put a telethon on and have all these people raise so much money.
They should do it.
And like, it has to happen. It has to happen. And hopefully it'll happen in some way. But what I am getting from everybody that's in Los Angeles right now is the community that is coming together in the most profound, beautiful, hopeful, grateful ways. And it's amazing, the energy of it. And so for that, I want to be there right now. But I also was supposed to come tomorrow, and it's like taking up space. It's taking up water. It's taking up and I can do so much outside by helping individually. So my friends that are really struggling right now, and do the best you can from out there. And that's what we all need to do who aren't experiencing this hell. And I did learn from my really great sister. Can I tell this story? Should I just tell?
I don't know. Do you want to? I don't know the story.
I don't know. Am I taking too much time?
No.
I'm
My
just
God,
like,
sit
sorry,
down.
guys.
I have no
I just like,
There's no-
look at all of this is the energy of trauma, because we're all connected to energy and we can feel everybody's trauma and the energy of it. And it's really
But
intense.
This was your idea for us to be together today.
I
too.
wanted
But-
to celebrate Martin Luther King's birthday because today is his day. So whatever's happening other than this today needs to be celebrated. It's disgusting that it even takes place on this day. So here we are celebrating Martin Luther King, right?
Yeah, that's right.
But I do want to say that I have a bestie that I love so much. And, like trying to be helpful, sending recipes of my, turmeric shit for the lungs. And it's like, she finally said to me, like, it's like, stop sending recipes. Like, you're not here. Like the tone deaf. So like we're experiencing the fucking hellfire. Like, it's like, oh, okay, sorry. I was just, I'm just trying to think. And then I think, later she calls me up. Oh my God, I'm going to tell this story. So she calls me up to go on the TV, watch Fire. No, that's the whole fucking point. She said it. It's like the Watch app. No, TV.
Greg's got
The
it.
fact that I can't even say it
I
right
know.
now is the really
know.
bad problem of the whole thing. So I'm
you
going to
gotta
say,
set it
no,
up.
Watch. They're all on Watch TV. It's not Watch TV. It's
You told me watch.
what is
TV.
it's Watch Duty.
Watch duty.
It's Watch Duty. So
it's a fire- it's
she's
like-
on the phone, like on her way to go into Home Depot to build her broken fucking fired fence or something that was like happening. And I was like, can you get on Watch TV? What's
No,
like,
it's not Watch
no,
TV.
I know.
It's Watch
I heard Watch TV. It's Watch Duty. So I heard Watch TV. I'm like, Watch TV. Watch all this shit's coming on. Now listen, I love everybody, but if anybody knows me and wants help in life, never, ever ask me anything that has to do with tech. Ever. Even the most simple fucking thing. Because I am a moron when it comes to this kind of thing. So
wait, now we got to shift to Greg. So what happened, Greg? What happened
God, no.
when our friend called Rosanna and said, "Can you go on Watch Duty?" What happened? Because you got
No,
I
she
could've
called to
killed
see
my
about
friend.
going
We
on
were on
Watch
the phone
Duty,
together.
and
we were on the phone
I
together.
I downloaded Watch Duty, and
Well, you
checked
downloaded it
everything.
after you got a message because Greg and I are on the phone together, and Rosanna's calling and calling and calling and calling. She's in a panic, and so I'm like, okay,
a panic. I was
Yeah.
hysterical.
So I answer. I'm like, hey, I'm on the phone with Greg, and she goes, Watch TV, and she's screaming and crying, and then she hangs up.
It's like,
And I'm like,
because I thought, like, please help me about Cater.
What
Like,
is that? What is happening? So then Greg you got on it. I got on it, but nothing was happening.
nothing was happening.
It was just to download an app.
right,
yeah.
and
It was-
everything was fine.
But
you
see,
know,
no, I tried to download. Once I got the Watch Duty, I'm trying to download it. Now it's supposed to be a free app. It's asking for a credit card. Swear to fucking everything. It's asking for
know
a
how
credit
that
card
happened. I
in
don't
the
know how
free
that
app of Watch Duty. Swear it's not. So there was like my
did you download
my
Call of
purse
Duty?
was.
Is it-
I was
is
in.
that-
You did Call of Duty.
I was in Nashville.
You were doing Call of Duty.
That must be what it
Seeing
was.
Justin Jones get be sworn back in, and I was in Nashville. So I'm in Nashville.
Yeah.
Trying to do this in Nashville, hysterical. My purse to get the credit card for the free fucking app. And why do they want my credit card? is in this way far house. I'm like in this, you know, visiting my family. And so I went into, that's when you got the hysterical phone call, which you might need to listen to one day, but not for you.
But
We'll let her answer.
Did you save it? Do you have?
He said
I
yes.
never
He
erased
told
it,
he
but-
told me,
but-
oh
I-
my
I-
God,
didn't
it's
even-
so
It's
horrible.
not.
It is really lost my
It's
fucking
fine.
mind. And I thought I have like caused my I'm picturing her going back to her burning out, like putting her whole life in danger because I could not get on this app. I was beside myself. And anyway, so I love everybody in Los Angeles. I love Los Angeles. It's in my heart, and I want to rebuild our city in the most sustainable, beautiful, environmentally friendly. Can we please, God, do that? And I think if we all come together, we can.
Yes. Amen.
Amen.
That was like a prayer.
Amen.
Yeah. Amen. All right.
Amen.
Thank you, Rosanna. The
Thank
great
you.
Rosanna Arquette.
Yay.
Love it so much.
I mean, great with everything but tech. I think
Great
that's-
with. I think that's the
Yes.
takeaway.
cat. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a cat experience this morning too. You
Yeah.
showed up with all this beautiful Bloody Mary stuff, and Greg is a cat person. Greg has many cats.
I have 3. We have 3.
That's a lot.
It is a lot.
And 2 are kittens.
Yeah.
Like
well,
they're 8 months
now
now.
there's something.
Yeah, there's something.
Okay. There. Now.
So anyway, and then we're gonna get to these in a second. So so Greg walks in the door, right? And there's a cat here, and the cat's all over you, as he
Yeah.
always is. He's very what do you call a cat? It's not aggressive. He's social. He's social.
Unshy.
He's
He's not. He just.
unshy.
Some cats run away when there's people over, and some cats are like, "Oh, you were in my house. What's going on with you?"
Yeah, he's a little bit like that.
Yeah.
He does come in like
Mhm.
this, right? So, and he's Russian.
Well, there you go. I think we've
So you can imagine what happens. So Greg is like petting the cat. He
Yeah.
knows the cat.
Yeah.
Talking to the cat, and the cat's like this, smelling, and it gets to. I watched him. He got to one place. He went, like his head tilted, like, and then he went, and oops, sorry, beat the crap out of you.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, you got
I
attacked.
think
Cat attack.
smelled my lady Izzy.
I
and
think he smelled your lady.
He got in the mood for love. I think was what happened. So-
Well, that's his version.
Yeah, that's what happens.
We're gonna warn Izzy about him.
You know what
this is not
what the Bloody
this is
Mary
not a good
needs?
man.
This needs turmeric. I think.
Does it need some
Yeah, it needs
turmeric?
turmeric.
It needs some turmeric. All right, so these that I'm wearing and Rosanna was
Yes.
wearing were made by the most amazing woman. Want to tell us about Stephanie St. John?
Yeah,
Greg's wife.
she's my wife.
Is she putting
I
these
have some too.
anywhere? Is she selling these? What is she doing?
She's just literally just
She's
sitting
just
in
sitting
bed
in
crocheting. I
bed
think she's going to spend the
crocheting.
next 4 years doing that. I think it's just going to be a
I think
crochet.
I can't even tell you how warm my hands are, but I still have my fingers. I love them. I love the look of them. I think we're going to start something here.
Yeah,
All right. What do you think, guys? Who's on there? Who's on there?
yeah. People are on there.
My cats are super friendly and inquisitive. They love visitors.
Yeah,
No, this cat doesn't like visitors. Not that much.
yeah.
He loves
He was
me.
fine with me
He
last
loves
time.
me because
but
I
I didn't
took
have the
care of him.
kittens last time.
And
That's the difference.
You didn't have the kittens last
Yeah.
time. And the other thing about him, this cat that you can't see, he's right here. Nobody wants to pick him up to show you. I'm sorry. We don't do
I
that with
would,
him.
but I can't do.
No, you
I'm
better
off,
not.
I'm off limits now.
No,
clearly.
that's it. That's it. He doesn't want to be touched. So I don't know if I'd share this story, but I was house sitting here. I was cat sitting
Okay.
for a week or so because I wanted space, right? Whatever. So I come and I'm with him and he knows me and he loves me. I did it in LA, that it was here in this house. And I swear to God, this cat started working on me. I'd never had an animal really like someone else's
Work on
animal.
you like chiropractic or
Oh no,
No.
he was working on me. He was like, his food was on the floor. And he was like, lady, he was giving me this like look. He would just stare at me and he's like, don't want it there. And he kept jumping up on the counter when I'm making his food.
Mhm.
And then I would put it on the floor and he'd be like, no. And he'd go back up on the counter. I'm like, okay, I was told very specifically not to feed you on the counter because Ro doesn't want you on the counter. So, but he's working on me for like a week.
Yeah.
So I said, I had to promise him. I said, look, I promise you, I am going to advocate for you. I had a whole conversation with him about how I would become his advocate in this very
Yeah.
particular way to get his food up on the counter because clearly that's what he wanted.
Yeah.
And I made that commitment to him. And I swear to God, he looked at me It was like, okay. And he went ahead and ate his food and he was fine for the rest. And then I got on the phone with Rosanna. I said, I have to advocate for Blix. I think you really need to put the food up. Like this whole thing happened. And so she did it, and she did it for him. And he was grateful to me.
Yeah.
He made that all happen, even though he's a cat. I never had a relationship with a cat before. I never had a cat.
Well, that's what cats
Tell me
do.
their agenda.
Wait, hold on. I want
All right.
to show my wife's comment
Okay.
here.
Greg's wife, Stephanie here. The other Stephanie, I will make fingerless gloves for anyone who asks. Just tell me the color you hate, and I won't include that color.
There you go.
Oh my
everybody.
God.
There you go.
I think you're going to be busy though, Stephanie.
Yeah.
Okay. So because all the comments save with the YouTube shows when they go into the archive,
Oh,
we'll
people
be
can
able to
write me.
see.
Just write me.
Just write Greg on the Prevail Substack the email.
Oh,
there.
everybody in here knows where to find
Everybody
me.
knows where to find Greg.
Just go through
they
the
cool?
cat. The cat will know where to find me.
Love them. I love that I got a little bit of green in mine.
Yeah,
It's like
they're
a green
pretty.
and they're beautiful.
Yeah.
And the stitching goes in different directions on which I like that too. I don't like matchy.
Yeah.
I like this. They go together clearly.
It's good.
It's good.
It's
All right. What
good.
else? We're just sitting here bullshitting, trying not to talk about
There was something else I was
toxic
going to
stuff.
say.
What were you going to say?
Oh, I thought you were going into toxic
No, we're not going yet.
No.
I'm kidding.
We'll be like this.
I gave Rosanna a concussion this morning. Oh my God, you guys.
I deserved it.
So we decided we
She
wanted
did
to
not
put
deserve
snow
it.
angels. Maybe we'll take the computer that you can see on the porch, but I was trying to pull her up. You know how you try to pull somebody up so that they don't step on their angel. And I had the door in one hand and Rosetta in the other, and she slid in the door like this, and I smashed her into the
But
door.
this is making me freaked out because my friends who are dealing with the fire and the smoke right now don't give a fuck about snow angels in the snow.
I know. I don't want
And
you
so
to.
it makes me very. So we have to be really. Like, we have to be really.
We'll be
sensitive
mindful, but I
to
did
all our
knock you.
friends
I
that are
did.
not- we are not.
I did.
there right now.
It did knock your head, though.
I know, but
It didn't.
you
feel better now?
I deserve that.
Somehow
Karmically? I
you
don't-
deserved it.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
So that happened. All this happened before we got on air. It's been a very busy morning. We tried to go out and get coffee. That didn't work. Everything's closed. And then somebody was.
I got coffee.
Oh, here's the.
Kid's
I know.
birthday.
I understand.
Everything is closed because thank God it's a holiday today.
It is a federal
But
holiday.
it's a federal
a
holiday.
holiday.
Martin Luther King's birthday. Let's hope that these. No, anyway,
Yeah.
it always stays forever because we can't even go there. Never mind. So it's like yes.
Yes. So we were out in the car, and this guy was honking like crazy for you to take a right on red in Connecticut. And just so everybody knows,
You can't take a ride on red in Connecticut?
you cannot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Right.
All right. Now, what else?
I don't know. We can't talk about Severance because my wife has watched the first episode.
Of course you can.
It's
because
one
My
episode.
sister's
Yeah,
in it.
she is in it.
Not in the
Not
first
in the
episode.
first episode.
Well,
She's not, but she'll
that's
be in
their
it.
loss.
She'll clearly be in it. They're clearly
It's
setting
gonna
us
be.
up
It's
for
gonna be
something
episode
epic.
2 will be all her.
I
Yeah.
think they're setting us up for something epic.
Stephanie has seen it 5 times or 4.
The whole thing. Oh yeah, she's
No, the
texting
first
us.
the first episode. I've seen it twice. She watched it at least 3 more.
Can we
times,
talk
I think.
about our theories or no?
Well, your theory,
didn't
which
know
you
you guys were
advanced,
so
which
into
I do not
He's
agree
really
with.
in it.
I
Yeah.
do not agree
You
with.
don't agree with my theory.
Because I watched it again with theory, and people. This is a
Okay.
theory that's out there.
Oh,
We
is it
did.
out there?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's out
So
there.
it wasn't just me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It
should we
never
say?
is.
Yeah, we don't want to. I don't want to spoil anything about the show because it's so
Yeah.
good and it's so twisty that I don't
It
want
is
to say
twisty.
as little as possible about it.
But it's out there. There's some theories out there. There's just one episode in.
4.
Okay.
She
What
watched
else?
She watched it 4 times.
Oh, she loves it.
Yeah.
When she's knitting the hand
I
socks.
didn't know it was back. Oh.
Are these hand socks? Is that what we Is that what we call them?
She calls them fingerless gloves.
fingerless gloves?
Yeah.
I like hand socks.
Hand socks. Your
I
socks.
couldn't come up
Your
with-
socks. Your toes go through your socks. Like that's a thing. I don't know.
No, I will say this. I had to. I kept trying to up my sock. I've been up in my sock game. It's like
You don't have a son who just takes all your socks. My
No,
whole
your
family
son-
just all of them. They take my
they
socks
take
and
your
my
socks.
vanish.
I
and
did
then leave them
take. I
alone.
did take my husband's socks. I have to have a sock. Like your feet get cold where I live. Cold. It's not a cold like
Are you
anywhere
getting-
else.
You're getting cold feet.
Getting cold feet.
Okay.
Your feet get cold in a way that not only goes, maybe in Chicago feet get this cold.
I think Minnesota.
Minnesota is northern enough. You have to have either lakes or be really far north. And what happens is, even if you have the boot warmers in your boots or in your shoe, whatever you have, if your socks, and I have you have to have a thermal layer, a wool layer, and I think a Sherpa layer inside the thermal layer. I think you have to have a 3-layer sock, but then you can't fit in your boots. So anyway, that's my contribution this morning.
Or you could just be in Florida would be good.
Or you could be in Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, everything is a sock to me because I've been on a sock mission and a sock cut.
I understand.
Yeah. I was like, I need socks.
Okay. So getting back to
Martin Luther King.
Getting back to the severance thing, I think I can say your theory because anybody that hasn't seen the show will have no idea what we're talking about anyway. And if you have seen the show, then
my theory is that Helly came back in as the person on the outside, that her outie is back in there.
So the outie is pretending to be the innie.
The outie is pretending to be the innie.
Okay. And here's why I do not agree.
Okay.
When they were talking about what they were just doing and saw on the outside,
right?
Her cover story is so
Gardner's
awful. It's so bad.
You think they would have had a better cover story?
Yes. I think that there's no way. That sounds like something somebody who doesn't have a lot of life experience would make up.
Okay.
So, I don't know, but to support the theory, she looks a little bit weird when.
Well, it's like, why is she lying about it? You know, it's like because she's ashamed of who she is.
Yeah,
yeah, that could be.
Yeah, I am sorry.
We watched Emilia Perez last night. I hadn't seen it, and I actually knew nothing about it.
I don't know what that is.
I'm not going to spoil it for anybody.
Okay.
I'm just going to say, I thought it was extraordinary. Like that to me was a completely original conceit and execution all the way through by everybody from the moment the titles come on to the end. And that is so hard to do. Like just to have something that is that unapologetically and unrelentlessly original.
What is this called?
Emilia Perez.
Okay.
Yeah. Loved it.
Okay.
Loved it.
Well, it was also a very good weekend for football. And now there's only 3 games left, and it makes me sad.
Oh.
But I do feel like there's some connection when the Washington football team does well. That's usually a good sign for the universe.
I remember you said this before.
It was a Hail Mary. He threw a Hail Mary, and they won the fucking game right before the day that we don't want to talk about.
Right before the day we want to talk about.
And Jaden Daniels is awesome. Like everyone loves him. He's like I don't even know how to describe him. He's a Zen guy. He came down from the
But who is this?
This is the quarterback for the
Washington
Commanders, who's a rookie and who went on this run. And
what's his name?
Also, Jaden Daniels. He's also starting quarterback for my winning fantasy football team.
Oh, wow.
So I have special. And I was in DC. I know that's a big football town, and the team has sucked for 25 years because the owner, the guy that owned the team before, was forced to sell it, was one of the scummiest, sleaziest pieces of shit that ever drew breath. Like he was like in his yacht in the Aegean, running away from people trying to subpoena him for tax stuff. Like that's the level of shit this guy is. And in fact, I've now forgotten his name. It's erased in my brain.
Good.
So they sold the team this past year. They brought in new people, and now they're good. And everyone's really happy.
Oh,
and
great.
Washington, D.C. is such a football town, and it hasn't been able to be that for such a long time. So I feel like...
Yeah, they do like teams there.
They
like to go into their teams.
There's all these balls juggling in the air that seem...
Well, here's what I like about what you're articulating is, it is awful, right? It's sad also to see the end of an era of things. I'm also simultaneously really grateful that I lived through being a working writer artist in Los Angeles. I'm so grateful I had that experience. I don't know. I feel a lot of gratitude for that. And who knows what the next era is going to be? We're just going to, maybe there's good omens and good signs everywhere, but we're just going to build something. Someone's going to build something. They are.
I remain very bullish on Los Angeles and art in general.
Good.
So I feel like people don't like all this AI shit. I feel like we've reached a saturation point for certain things. We've reached a saturation point for Marvel movies. Like, why is there Captain America? I know it's a bad moment for
It's
that.
okay. Yeah. I'm glad
saturation point for that. We've reached a saturation point with Snoop Dogg. Never need to see him again. He should just go away now.
That's true.
I don't need any
I
more.
did like him at the Olympics.
Fine.
I thought that
Great.
was wonderful.
But that's over now.
It's
and
over.
Now it's really over.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
know
really
why
over now.
He's there hobnobbing. How much more money do you need? But
I don't know.
I just feel like there's saturation points, and I think people are tired of the whole same old thing. And I think this AI shit is not going to wash. I think people want to see things that are original and all of that. And I think that the way that the technology is, it makes things cheaper to make.
Yes, it does.
Didn't David Lynch make his last movie like on his phone? Like it was a back.
I don't know.
He went through the whole thing and then back down
David
to
Lynch.
the cheapest possible way to do stuff. Like, you can make a movie on your phone if you want to.
It's true.
I
do think I'm not even like negative about the AI thing completely. I think it's looming and scary because we're so like dinosaurish in terms of our leadership and any ability to sort of keep up with stuff. And now this technology is so vastly developing that mankind's really behind in what we've created of where it's going to take us. So that said, and and understand the need for protecting artists in this environment, I'm excited for the potential of ideas. I think ideas will become the power of everything, right? So if you're someone who's an idea person and you that's a strength, or you want to develop that strength, that's where I feel like resources that are going to be available to people who have ideas, what they're going to be able to do with their ideas to turn them into reality is going to be vastly enhanced and accelerated by AI. So there's that. Focus on that. I'm just trying to stay here, and not in a delusion sort of happy-go-lucky state. I think it's important to bear witness to everything that is happening and is going to happen when it happens and be present to it. I can't live in
I also think crypto.
toxicity.
I think crypto is stupid. I think that's gonna. People don't.
You think that's gonna go away?
No, because the mafia is underpinning it. But like it's basically they need an alternative. This is how I interpret it. They need an alternative to cash so criminals can pay other criminals. It's really that simple. And the other, cash is too hard to fly the money out and do stuff with it. But if we have crypto, then it's but like most people, like I'm a pretty with it person in general. I have a very vague understanding of what crypto is, and I think it's stupid. So like, who's using this thing? Who in the world is?
Right.
And it's like, well, you can use it when you go to the store, but no, you can't. You're not going to be able to use it at the store. No one's going to accept it. You can't sell it. Like Asia Radin said a long time ago, it's not designed to use. It's designed to hoard.
That's interesting. I like that.
It's a
in
treasure.
terms of, I don't like it, but that helps me.
It's not functional because it might go up in value, and it's dumb. And the whole point of it is they're like, well, it's not tied to anything. Yes, it is. It's tied to the price of energy. Because the computing speed and the price of energy are interlocked. Okay. So it's tied to the price of energy. So however expensive energy is, that's how expensive. It's not tied to nothing. That's a lie. There's all this, but who's using it? Like really, who? Like all these? How many people are in the chat now? I don't know. Is anybody here really like? Maybe you have like some modest investment in crypto. Is anyone using crypto to buy anything? Will anyone ever? You are? No.
I thought I was being summoned. Am I being summoned? Is everything okay?
No, everything is okay.
I do have squash in the oven, but I took it out, so it's out of the oven.
Okay.
There's stuff happening. So I don't know. I agree
I'm
with
scared of crypto. I'm scared.
We're gonna launch a new crypto coin.
Oh my God!
It's gonna be called $. I don't know.
I gotta say something. I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna be careful about it. This is the extent I'm gonna go. So I'm looking at Blue Sky or whatever. Someone had captured an image of the former first lady,
I
about to
know,
be
I
first
knew you
lady,
were
about
gonna
her
say
thing, and because there's a dollar sign in front of her name, and I couldn't because my eyes are so bad. I didn't have my glasses. I'm just looking at you, right, and it looked like Smellania, like smell. I'm like, oh my God, this has to be a joke. Why would she call it Smellania? But it's the dollar sign in front of it, the crypto thing.
It's insane to me that she would prostitute herself like that. I thought I had higher hopes for her, that she wouldn't just, sell herself that much.
I'm slurping on my Bloody Mary. Okay, that's enough of that.
Okay, enough.
I do have this.
Okay, because our guest is here.
Our guest is here.
He's
Wait a minute, hang on.
That sounds like we have to get up. That sounds like a doorbell.
There.
What is that?
I don't know.
What is that?
I got that. We've got that. Let's bring our guest.
We're bringing our guest.
We do have a guest.
We have a guest. We did get that organized to this.
That's the only thing we got organized.
We haven't talked to him since I think before. It's been a while.
It's been a little bit. It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. That's what he says in Severance too.
It's been a minute.
Been a minute.
It's been a minute.
Good.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see what he has to say.
I am too.
And how things are going there. Mr. Ernest Owens, welcome.
Ernest Owens.
Hello, hi everyone.
Hi.
Good. I'm glad we can hear you.
You look chilled out. You look nice and chill.
Yes, I did not do any crazy activities today. It's a day of rest and reflection, and that is what I'm looking at. I mean, I didn't do any community service stuff today. It's just, it's a day to reflect.
Yeah. Oh my God, yes. So what are your reflections? Do you want to share some with us?
Well, yeah.
I'd love to hear your thoughts on where you're at and,
Yeah, I've been following, some of the stuff with the inauguration today. I'm just the TikTok situation is just so stupid. And it's been frustrating to see people kind of fall for the okie doke about this. Like, it's almost like, did anyone pay attention? And then you start to realize like why the election went the way it went, because it's like everyone is like catching up on things that had kind of been out. So they're like, wait, Trump was the one who said he wanted to ban TikTok? I'm like, yes, this all started with him wanting to do it.
Yeah.
And also people not even understanding the full nature of what is at stake with TikTok, and even not forgetting the law, because I guess this president's forgotten the law. I mean, it's we're going to work with him. He can make declarations before he's actually officially sworn in, because like right now he's being sworn in, but you would have thought that already happened last week based on the way he's been making announcements, and even how this app has been doing. They're like thanking him as if the deal's been done, and it's going to fool people because again, people are not understanding that this has been something that's been signed into law. Supreme Court has upheld it. You just can't walk in and say executive order supersedes all of that. Like, it doesn't work that way.
But maybe it does. We don't know how it's going to work because he's got the court behind him. I think what you said right off the top of this is it's sort of the whole ball of wax, is like that people just fall for the okie doke. I mean, to me, that's a combination of just folks not understanding, being tuned out, one. Mm-hmm. Number two, not understanding how things work. No civics understanding.
Yeah.
But then mostly, I just feel like there's like a detachment, like an uncaring. So it's not just I'm tuned out. It's just I don't give a shit. And it feels to me like that's the predominant. There's like a selfishness that has taken over, and that's the predominant.
Well,
thing.
the selfishness is coming from on high, to Ernest's point. Like, it's all like we're now going into this lane, apparently. And the TikTok, my kids are like, oh my God, TikTok is going away. I'm like, it'll be back on Monday. There's no reality in which TikTok will not return by Monday.
Right. I mean, but there's a part of me that wonders, like, if you're seeing some of the tension, right? Tom Cotton, who's a senator of Arkansas, and a Republican from Nebraska, another Republican senator from Nebraska, they're pushing against this. Like, there's no unity like it had been in 2017. And I think that what I don't want Democrats to do, and what I do hate a little bit about politics, is that we're seeing with the elected officials themselves a level of mixed energy, but everybody on both sides go to one extreme over the other. And the more and more I get older and I see this stuff, the more I realize that there's always this middling ground, and it's about who wants to nudge harder on what they want. And I think what I mean by this is that no one gets their absolute way, but some people choose to make others uncomfortable get their way. And I think that's what Republicans do, right? Like Republicans are not going to get their way their entire way these next 4 years. I honestly would say that they better get what they can in these next 2 years, right? But with Democrats, and this is their problem, is that when they have situations where they can get more of their way, they acquiesce more for this performative sense of dignity that never gets returned back to them. They never get the reciprocity for their sense of dignity and bipartisanship that they want to go for. And that's what pisses voters off, which is why they continue to lose certain, they lose a certain set of votes every election from what was supposed to be the coalition that was supposed to keep them in power. They had it, but they dropped it because they keep acquiescing to try to appeal to this middle ground that is no longer here. Like they're not reading the room. They're not reading where we currently are. They keep thinking that we're going to return to whatever it was in '08. We're past that. I think we need to accept that. There is ways to move forward, but we cannot keep trying to force the Obama coalition of 2008 to 2012 and think we can keep playing that playbook and go back there. That's over. That doesn't mean that just because that's over, there's no hope and promise for the future. It's just that you're going to have to recognize that you can't make everybody happy. And Republicans, they have understood that a little bit better, that they are willing to make other folks uncomfortable to push their policy. And guess what? They can do that and they can still win office. I think Democrats have always feared that if they didn't play to the middle more, if they didn't play to the right more, that they'll forfeit. But the irony is when they actually leaned on what they really wanted and stood 10 toes down on it, they actually would get more victory because there was a level of competence and a level of respect, because people like people that stand on business. I think even those who do not support Trump, but when I hear them kind of give him some level of props or kudos, it's always this idea of, well, at least he seems competent in his disillusion. Like he's fully invested in it. He's fully
in
with it.
100%.
Right.
I think there's something really to that.
But real quick, Democrats do the right thing, right? They actually do the right thing, but the way that they sell it, they don't have a sense of like full competence, even when they're doing the right thing. Like they never are like aggressive about trans issues and the rights of that. Like there's always this pivot to try to find middle ground, even on things that are absolutely what they should be fighting for.
Yeah, no, if you think about it too, to your point, the best Democratic presidents we have are the ones who did do that. FDR was like, fuck it, we're going to do all this stuff.
Exactly.
We're going to rapid fire, and some of it will work and some of it won't. And I was hoping that Biden would do that. And he did a lot of things but they're all like these little kind of incremental things. And, and even you could, LBJ used his, he had a couple of months to get shit done, and he did. I think today is a good day to talk about that too.
Yeah.
He flat out used the JFK assassination to get that legislation through.
The civil rights legislation. Yep.
Which is, and the Democrats.
And he said, you have to like help me. Like, it's like, that was a time where you couldn't just executive order your way into whatever. But I like, what do we think? What do you think, Ernest? I just want to talk about this real quick. What do you think about Biden's farewell? I do want to ask you about that. What did you think about that? What do you think about everything being thrown back on us again? And what should we do with that going forward? What are some of the ways we can do something about that? Because showing up and voting didn't work.
Well, I think two things need to happen. I think that we need to put more pressure on Democrats. I think we spend so much time looking outward at Republicans and what they're doing. They're going to keep doing what they're going to do. But we let Democrats off the hook a lot of times where we don't challenge them on what they're doing. Like, okay, so yes, these other guys are bad, but what are you going to do about it? Like, what are you going to do about elected official? What policy do you have in place? Because you can't keep saying, okay, this other guy's bad and they're worse, because no one actually votes. What I'm realizing with voters, and especially voters in my generation specifically, they will either not vote or they will just, go in a different direction based on misinformation. You have to give people a reason to vote for you, not against someone else. That's what I'm recognizing. People that vote for Trump voted for Trump. They were like, I am voting for Trump. I think with Harris, she didn't have enough time to really run the type of campaign that I think would have got her the victory. I feel like if Biden would have dropped out much sooner, in retrospect, that would have probably given her much time to land. More information would have been fleshed out. I think it would have just been a little bit more challenging. But I think that in certain ways, even within Harris's campaign, there was this urgency to keep telling you how bad Trump was, but not enough to tell you why her. And so when I think about when people voted for Obama, it was the energy of, I'm voting for Obama. I want to vote for him. They didn't care about Mitt Romney. They didn't care about McCain. It was never about them and why they decided to vote. And I think there has been missing with Democratic candidates, even with Biden to a certain extent, because the pandemic shaped the reason why people voted, because there was something more fearful at stake besides political candidates. But I think for a long time, I have not seen energy around Democrats where they are gun-ho invested in the candidate specifically for the candidate. They have not created a candidate that will make people say, you know what, I'm going to the polls for them. I want them. In the same way that Trump has done that for himself, where this man has ran 3 times and he's won 2 out of 3 of those elections. But it's because those people that follow him are going for him. They're not going for anyone else. And I think the last time we really had that was with Obama, where people just were like, I'm going to vote for Obama. You don't got to tell me anything good or bad about McCain. I don't care. I like Obama.
Yeah.
I don't like that right now.
What I would add to all that, thank you for saying all that, is that Obama was, and not that Kamala wasn't like an iconic moment for people to step into, but Obama was the first one of those, right? The first sort of like, oh my God, and it broke the news cycle. It just broke. So I wonder how a candidate will have to be to when the media landscape is so controlled and so much of it all in the bag for one party over the other, where instead of being impartial. For instance, Ron Filipowski, I believe, I can't say his name quite right, but he posted this question: is how much media attention was centered around a false allegation that Joe Biden took $5 million from Burisma, versus how much media attention has been given to this sort of endless graft and right in our face graft of the incoming first family. And you saw like the weighing that even is just like, here we have a false allegation of just like 5 million. And over here we have billions and billions and billions in our face being taken with their name on it, like hawking, the whole thing.
Bibles
We don't know who's
crypto
investing in the crypto.
hotels
You can't trace it. Talk about foreign money influence and ownership. $25 billion is a hell of an own. And even the stuff before that. So the imbalance of it, I don't know what do you have to do? Who do you have to be so that the all in the bag, and now it's all owned by these tech bros, all of our media, and they're all there kissing the ring.
I think that
Democrats
got to be bold again. Like, Democrats have to be bold, and Democrats have to stand on business. They have to stand on it. I think the issue about Biden, and even with that administration, is that they will make these big, huge, virtue signaling, a lot of virtue signaling.
Yeah.
Where they will make these big, huge, they'll make these nice, gestures, but they never will follow up on it. They will never lean into it. And they would never read the moment enough to say, here's these 3 or 4 big, bold things we're going to do, right? Like, I just remember a lot of times Biden kept talking about insulin going down to $40 and capping this. And it was like, okay, that's great. But where are the big, bold things? Like, we will never forget President Obama because of, marriage equality happened during his presidency, but Obamacare. Where's the Obamacare? Where's the Obamacare? Where's the thing that everybody hated, but everybody actually loved and still used? Where is the big Obamacare? The thing that we will forever remember, right? Every president, if you want to be a candidate that has something to bring to the table, something bold, even if it may not work all the way, but I think they just need to swing harder. Because Trump is, I mean, he's trash. But he proposes things that are big and swinging, right? And you know it. You don't like it, but you remember it. I just feel like we didn't get that. Like student debt could have been the thing. Like Biden tried. And I will say that he had momentum and the Supreme Court kind of stopped some of that. But that could have been his big swing. And when that didn't happen, he didn't pivot to something else. I mean,
I think reforming the Supreme Court is what Greg and I wanted to be the big thing. Let's reform the fucking court.
Or go after the obvious corrupt people on the court and make that a campaign issue.
Or yes, but again, that's another thing that I want to critique Democrats on doing more. But you also got to do something that's going to rain on the people, like something that is not so insular, that is driven by what could be argued driven by divisive politics, but something that will actually benefit people that they can feel. So like the Trump checks were not really the Trump checks, but it was something that he was able to leverage because people felt it. Obamacare, people felt that, right? They just did not have the thing, the big, flashy, shiny thing that I feel like student debt could have been that thing. I think a couple of other
even
things
taking Obamacare to like free healthcare.
That's right.
Medicare for all would have done it.
We could afford it some other way. Yeah. Something around hunger, right? We could have done something to give everybody free lunch. Every public school get free lunch, but something that could have just been massively effective. And I think some Americans, I think what I've recognized is that they will remember a sigh of relief on one major thing. If you took something off of their checklist forever or made something permanently, like I'm still remembering, like I remember like when I graduated from Penn in 2014, I was like 22. The fact that I was able to stay on my parents' health insurance till 26 before I finally landed like a job that gave me the benefits. I finally got into a good position. Those 4 years of my life, graduating was like trying to navigate what I was doing, freelancing. I still remember how that made a difference.
Took the stress off.
Yes. Like that's the kind of structural impact. We all remember that. Like my generation, all of my friends from college, we still remember what that 4 years out of college was like, to know, oh snap, I can still adult a little differently. Like that is the kind of thing that I feel like we didn't really feel with Biden. And I feel like we need a big Democratic move that will make people feel it, where no matter how many times you're going to remind, like Obama can go up on stage. I'm going to always remember that. I'm like, he did all this other great stuff, right? Marriage equality has impacted my life clearly as a married gay man. But that alone, no one can say in this country, whether you're black, you're white, you're disabled, you're going to remember that. And I think that's what was missing. I think that sometimes we go for these larger, grander, sweeping things, but sometimes it could be those little things that stick with people. Because Trump checks are trash, right? We know that's nonsense, but I can't tell you how many barbershops and places I went to where that was the thing people continue to remember.
Well, the other side of that note is that you also must do everything possible if there's ever a Democrat in charge again,
right,
to not lose something at that scale.
That's right.
Well. Roe was lost. Our autonomy of our body was lost during that. I'm not blaming one party over the other. One party clearly did this one party agenda and they did it, but reforming the Supreme Court would have prevented that.
Right.
I'm sorry. So,
right.
Yeah.
And to your point,
you can't lose. If you're not going to gain, you certainly can't lose something that epic.
I think that's what I feel like was the frustration, is because you would think that with all of those L's that the administration was taking, that they was going to counter it with something else. And I think that was the issue, was like, okay, we're going to keep having these big stances. We're losing things. You're telling everybody, hold on and wait, be patient, like as if incremental change can work, when we're literally seeing immediate damage to progress that we have thought that was going to last us a lifetime. So you're
Right.
telling people to be patient.
Yeah.
Like you're the country. And I think that was what the issue was with a lot of people I spoke to
Yeah.
before, during, and after this election, where they said that even though the world around Biden was rapidly changing, he stayed the course at a glacial pace on addressing these issues. So everybody else is expected to pivot in the middle of election. Everybody's expected to change in their direction of how their urgency to vote. Everybody's expected to be uncomfortable and with uncertainty. Everyone's expected to do all of this rapid change, but this man is staying at the same glacial pace he's been since he's gotten elected. And I think that's the frustration with Democrats, that Democrats call on diverse communities that are struggling on so many different levels to make all of these personal sacrifices, but yet they don't meet the moment. And then what's crazy is that they get us angry about these elected officials. They scare us, they fearmonger us, and then they go around and normalize these people at the end of the day. So voters are like, well, what's the difference? What's the difference if you're going to sit up there and go to this inauguration in the car with this man? The only person that we continue to love that makes sense to us is forever First Lady Michelle Obama, because she reflects the actual voters that are the same way. Like, we're not going to dignify this. We don't have to dignify this. We don't have to normalize this, and we won't. And she is the only person in this entire equation that reflects the sentiment of the way in which they got voters. She actually believed in the dream. She looks like the dream. She reflects the views of how everyone else felt about this moment. And yet they're just like, it's like politics as usual. And I can see why people can hate politics, don't care, because they feel like the way that it's normalized, that people are on the same playing field, is frustrating.
I think that's the 10 toes down for me,
right,
that I really needed to see. And because I didn't see it, and I didn't see it from journalists, media personalities, and hosts, I didn't see it from business. I didn't see it from the people who know. I understand if you have an agenda. What I saw was people putting their own personal wealth, power, property, and prestige first, and fuck everybody else. That's all I saw from the capitulation that went like dominoes to normalize this. The thing to do in this moment in history is to make sure we stand up and we don't normalize this. I think metaphorically, it would have been like, this is you staying silent. To capitulate is a form of silence, because you know better and you're not doing better. You're not saying better. You're not acting better. You're just silent on all the things that you know are true and the values that actually people were embracing and promoting in order to get to their level of power, property, and prestige. And then once they got it off of all of our backs, climbing up, right, then it's, whoop, nope, this really was a selfish agenda. And we can see that manifest now. So from across the spectrum, from people that we actually need leadership from, including our family, friends, and neighbors, so we're going to have to build community from the ground up. I do think there's a lot to be grateful for and excited about when it comes to that. We're all going to learn new shit. We're a little tired of that. I'm tired of learning how to do new things at my age. You're way younger.
We don't have to,
Ernest, but we're going to have to.
I want to tell very quickly, not to interrupt, because I have another thing to bring up on this point, but on the Y2K New Year's Eve, I went to a place called Rodeo Bar in New York City, which was awesome and right near my house. And we went to hear this band play called the Niagaras, and everybody was sort of waiting for what the change would be and, the midnight to come and all this kind of stuff. And they were playing a song, and we sort of realized that they never did the countdown at all. And then it was suddenly past midnight, and they just kept going, "We're alive, we're alive, we're alive." So I just want to say it's 12:01. We're alive.
We're alive. It's 12:01. We made it. We're going to go a little longer because we want to get through. We just want to have people stay watching something else. If you want something else, this is the thing to watch.
But I wanted to touch on something you were saying, Ernest, about, because I think one of the problems is, globally is the climate change. Like, we're all fucked if we don't fix this. But I think that politics in general, and I agree with everything you said about, there's something that helped you specifically. It's very rare, really, that some policy that especially the president does affects someone's life directly. It's usually these wedge issues that have nothing to do with anything.
Minimum wage, federal minimum wage.
But that doesn't affect you. That's or me. That's what I mean. It doesn't like it's not a thing that what affected us. The
affects
thing
me so much. I have a kid.
I know, but
I have a young person.
But
Yeah.
what affected us is when the student loans became tax deductible, which happened during Clinton years and wasn't before that. That was a thing that was like, we're giving you back. But climate change isn't that. They're not going to do something for climate change that we're going to see in any visible way. And I think that's the problem with that specific issue, is that like, okay, I'm going to recycle, but where's the tangible thing?
I want to say something.
Yeah.
I understand this. Sometimes I think there's tangible stuff that we don't even know is tangible and where it's coming from. Because the communication around something like the infrastructure bill, which was a huge, big piece of legislation, the communication around that was so bad. And so sometimes it's just about illumination through communication. And so that's something that, that can be worked on.
But I think the problem is the Democratic Party, because now that I think about communication, is the person you have.
Yeah.
Biden was not well. He's not well. And when you have a leader that is well enough, right, to be able to go out and really push the agenda with a level of confidence and rigor, you'll never lose that communication. Like the reality is that it's got to be the messenger. The leader has to lead.
Yeah.
And so it's only so much the comms department can do. It's only so much that, press releases and stuff can do. But you actually have to have a strong communicator, a strong messenger.
Yeah.
That's why Merrick Garland failed ultimately.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I couldn't stop thinking about him while you were talking. Yeah, this man, Greg and I were like, just talk to us. I don't care if you're just communicate, just talk.
No,
you can talk without compromising anything. You're just have an open channel. This is a big thing we're going through. We have we've arrested more people than everybody has ever arrested for a single crime. This is the biggest crime that's ever happened to this country. Right? The scale of it, the amount of people involved, it is all criminal. Yeah. And we're continuing to push forward. And just so everybody remembers, that's what we're looking at here. And the amount of resources we're continuing to garner for this effort, because this crime was committed on all of us individually and collectively as a nation. And so, because we're all citizens, right? It was about throwing away my votes. So, which is the most precious thing I'm given as a citizen, right? Is my vote. Right. And I need people, and especially in law enforcement, to make sure that is protected for me as an individual and protected for the nation. And that's what it was. It was an attack on that. And so we need the protections to come in. If that communication had just been that and continued in that vein in a regular manner, not only would we have had an accelerated, justice wouldn't have been just so lagging, but there would have been calls and momentum of things from doing things to actually protect our votes that could have happened even legislatively. So that was just left blowing in the wind, like a lot of other things, and to our detriment. Here we are. So yeah, there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to learn from this moment.
Yeah,
oh, God.
The communicators, like I said before, I think they need to go introspective, right? It's time to get younger candidates. It's time to get better candidates. Yeah. It's time to listen to different people within the party. It's time to amplify them. I'm a little disappointed because it seems like we're still not doing that. Democrats aren't. When you look at what happened to AOC and who replaced her on that committee, like what are we doing, right?
She got replaced. Oh, I missed this.
She was on a committee, but she wanted to go for a chair seat.
Yeah.
But it went to someone who's like literally twice her age.
And
oh, for fuck's sake.
Who has terminal cancer, I think. Also.
Oh,
yeah. But they put this person above her. And it was such a slap in the face, because after her showing up to the DNC, giving this passionate speech, she looked like a rising leader within the party, and then they sacked her. And I just kind of feel like this is exactly how people get disinterested, because you're still trying to play the same playbook. You're still trying to amplify and elevate the same people. And then you're shocked when you get different results, because there's this level of a line that they won't deviate. Everybody can't be told no. Dianne Feinstein couldn't be told no. Ruth Bader Ginsburg couldn't be told no. you just can't tell any of these people no. You can't say,
Yeah,
hey,
you have a live audience here as well, Ernest. You just can't see them, and they're reacting to you. I just want you to know there's like, because like, oh, when you said diaphragm, they're like, oh, like, so
but
it's great.
true. They can't tell any of these people no.
Yeah.
And so because of that, we suffer, we the people suffer, which is why we're noticing movements. Like I'll say, like, for example, in Philadelphia, we are seeing a third party movement happen that's making impact. They're called the Working Families Party. You know, they're across New York, other places. But city council now has 2 members of the Working Families Party in city council that have knocked out the Republicans. And so there's no Republican. There's only 1 Republican left on city council in Philadelphia who's been there for over 40 years. He's older than me. I'm 33. This man has been in office in the early 80s. He's been in office for about 40 plus years. He's the last Republican standing in city council, and he's one of 2 that's elected citywide. And so what I'm sensing here is that, yes, voters are over Republicans, but voters are also getting over Democrats in certain areas and other elected seats. And I don't think it's going to take off to national presidents. But what I'm thinking, though, is that if there is a sway to people voting third party, and these are third party that are on the progressive end, they're not like Rand Paul third party type of energy.
Right.
They're more on the, they're more left, more
Kremlin agents. Yes.
Right. They're more left leaning. So they're the kind of individuals who I'm sensing that voters are going to, the fact that in Philadelphia, that is a very true blue city, is going for third party candidates over Democrats. That should be a wake up call and sign that voters are losing faith in this 2-party system, but they're also, when given a chance to vote for someone else, they're going to take it.
Yeah, they're looking for something new.
Yeah.
They're looking to participate in this because there is a sense of, okay, we're in a new chapter globally. So how do I participate in this? Which is something I think thematically we're going to look at, because I'm just exploring. It's like, trying to figure out, it's very strange to be 55, know who I am on every level, as professionally, as a wife, as a daughter, as a mother, as a woman. I have no mysteries of around anymore to develop or explore in terms of myself, a sense of self. It doesn't mean I want to stop learning about myself,
Right.
but you get to a point, I did, in just being on the earth so long. It's like, I'm glad I'm comfortable with who I am. I'm comfortable here. I'm comfortable here. I got to tell you, I don't know how to be a citizen. I mean, I know some things, but a lot of that is totally upended for me. Like, where is this going? How do I be? If I want to resist, how do I resist? What's going to work? A lot of this stuff did not work. It did not work. In fact, it had the opposite effect of hardening the forces and coalescing the forces of which I felt like I needed to stand up and have a voice against, which was the voice of corruption. I just feel like there's more corruption, or was it just so big that, my little and other people, it's just this wave that's taking over us, right? And there's nothing we can do. I don't want to live there either, in a sense of helplessness. So
some of it
having that all be new is cool and exciting in many ways, but also it's just there's no answer. I've got no answers.
Well, I would say history serves a lesson in this. I think 2 things need to happen that has not happened, and this is just from my perspective. On the other side, is that not the other side of the political spectrum, but just generationally, I think 2 things that were missing here that kept getting pushed out. The call is coming from inside the House. Democrats and liberals within need to address things in their house. There's a lot of division amongst each other. Like, it's so funny how we can hear the Bidens of the world, the Obamas of the world talk about speaking across the aisle, but we need to speak within our own aisle, within our own chambers. It's so interesting that there are Democrats who are more engaged to talking to Republicans than talking to other progressives and others within their party. That they will be more trying to jockey for the approval and the popularity. Like, we were so interested in engaging Liz Cheney than we were the squad. That we were uncomfortable within each other, even though we were on the same team, we weren't willing to engage and talk amongst each other on issues that we may have differences in, but we could have talked. And I saw a lot of political division around Gaza, different stances around that. I saw people within what we consider liberals weaponizing far-right mechanisms to harm other Democrats based on how they interpreted their stances on Gaza. And I think that there were and I think that created a lot of distrust. I think that created a lot of people that did some self-sabotaging things to each other and to the party. I think that's how you get people talking about resist the vote. And that wasn't towards Trump, but to someone else. And it was a lot of miscommunication, but no one was willing to sit down. And the leaders that should have known better, that's done this long enough, should have set the example. And I think they didn't. And so I think a younger generation of voters and people who were with us lost us because they didn't understand how to explain humanitarian issues, how to have a different conversation about what the Biden administration is doing, how to protect those individuals and say, listen, these are still our family members. We might be disagreeing on the way to go about this, but let's not villainize them. Let's not exclude them. It was so much backbiting and infighting within the Democratic movement that created some strong rifts that turned some people off. And they have to go back and have to fix those relationships and mend them. This is a time for us to come in and work amongst each other and heal within. We keep trying to scare people away from our own internal problems. It's almost like a deflection. It's like, okay, there's a fight here within the Democratic Party that we're not addressing, but we keep saying these other people on the other side, we don't have time for that. Well, it looks like we do have time for that now, because it's not like Democrats are winning or doing anything. So what do you do in this time? Stop worrying about them, the other side. I mean, you're going to do what you can do, but at the end of the day, if you feel hopeless on that, what we can do is come back to the table amongst each other, build each other up, listen to each other, have uncomfortable conversations, strengthen our unity so that we can all come back on one accord and take this group on during the midterms and the primaries. But you can't do that if you keep neglecting and turning around unresolved issues. There's been clearly an unresolved fraction within the party around Bernie. Those people have continued that fragment of our movement. There are still people who have not gotten over what went down with Bernie and Hillary, even though whatever, right? There's people who still have not gotten over certain things that's happened. And I think this is the time for us to sit down, just listen. Because we do it, we were willing to do it with Trumpers, right? We keep hearing common ground. Listen to the other side. I feel like it's easier to do that with people that at least agree that we all deserve equal rights. Yeah. I would rather do that with people that are not racist and white supremacists.
Yeah.
And I think we should do that more. Like at least sit down and talk amongst each other and bridge these cross-generational divides, bridge some of these regional divides, because there's a lot of that going on amongst the party, and really listen to each other, figure out how we can find common ground within, and then come back with a better plan that's more universal. We talk about taking compromise with the far right, but we as liberals and progressives in this space, we need to figure out how to find compromise on some of the things that we also are pushing back.
I thank you for saying all that. It's definitely important to have this conversation, and it's absolutely imperative that everything you just said and spelled out is on the platter from this moment on going forward. It really is. So I'm so grateful that you joined us today, Ernest, and we could have this kind of interesting, constructive, productive conversation in light of what's going on. And I want you to come back. And maybe we can break that down. I actually want to rewatch everything you just said. And
there's a lot to think about.
I think break it down and talk about actual action that we can take. So I'm so grateful for you today. Thank you, Ernest. Thank you so much. All right. And we want everybody, Ernest, tell everybody where they can find you real quick.
Yeah, I'm still on X. I'm no longer on TikTok. I'm not coming back.
Okay.
You're
here on Blue Sky, yeah?
I do have a Blue Sky account, but I'm not active on Blue Sky.
Okay.
But I do have an account there, though. I do have an account. But I'm on X. I'm still on there. I'm on Instagram. I have a website because, listen, at the end of the day, we should all have our own websites.
That's exactly right. All right.
ErnestOwens.com. And my book, The Case for Council Culture, is still out. Please check it out. It's a very interesting book. and I'm working on my second book right now. So
Okay. And you, so I definitely want, how are you coming? It's almost done? No.
we're gonna announce it to everyone in the next couple of months. So
Okay,
stay
perfect.
tuned.
Let us
All
know.
right. So you
We'll
let
be
us know. You let us know. So we'll bring you back on for that. Yay,
there.
Ernest
Thank you.
Owens.
Thanks so much, Ernest.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Ernest.
Awesome.
So awesome. Oh my God, I love him so much.
Okay. Before we
Okay.
go, now I know we're gonna go.
We gotta go.
I know
All right.
I
So
want
what
to
do you
read
have?
you one thing. This is how we're gonna end. Okay.
Okay, this is how we're ending,
how we're gonna
everybody.
end.
We're gonna get through it. I'm saying that now because we're gonna end on this.
Fellow citizens, being fully invested with that high office to which the partiality of my countrymen has called me, I now take an affectionate leave of you. You will bear with you to your homes the remembrance of the pledge I have this day given to discharge all the high duties of my exalted station according to the best of my ability, and I shall enter upon their performance with entire confidence in the support of a just and generous people. You know what that is?
Tell us.
That is the last words of the inaugural address of William Henry Harrison, which I offer for no reason whatsoever. Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Bye, everybody.